Welcome to your deep dive. Today we're tackling something you specifically requested. Shopping in English.
Oh, nice.
Whether you're browsing, bustling markets in a foreign country or scoring deals online, feeling confident with your shopping vocabulary is key.
It really is. And it's amazing how those English shopping phrases pop up everywhere, right?
Right. And get this, we've got a real smorgasbord of sources for you.
Oh, cool.
Classic phrase books, tips from those super helpful English tutor YouTube channels, even blog posts on the art of bargaining in different cultures.
Well, the bargaining posts are fascinating.
Yeah.
It's a reminder of how much cultural context comes into play,
Right.
even in something as seemingly straightforward as shopping.
Totally. So our mission today is to sift through this treasure trove and pull out those golden nuggets, the phrases and strategies that'll have you shopping like a pro, plus those little cultural insights you won't find in a typical phrase book. Ready to unlock those linguistic superpowers?
Let's dive in.
Okay, let's start with the basics. Walking into a shop.
Okay.
A simple hello or good morning can make all the difference. But here's where it gets interesting. Did you know the level of formality can totally shift how your interaction goes?
It's true. For instance, in the UK, there's often a more reserved, almost formal politeness in shops.
Okay.
While in the US, things tend to be more casual and friendly right off the bat.
Right.
Even a simple good morning can sound different depending on where you are.
So I should brush up on my British accent if I'm hitting the shops in London then.
Well, a friendly demeanor goes a long way, no matter the accent.
Yeah.
But being aware of those subtle cues can definitely enhance the experience.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate the power of please and thank you. They're like universal keys to smooth shopping interactions.
They're like the social lubricant of the shopping world.
Yes.
And while we're on the topic of being smooth,
Okay.
let's talk numbers.
Right.
We've all been there fumbling with currency conversions or struggling to understand prices.
It's one of those things that can instantly throw you off.
Yeah.
I always suggest travelers spend a little time getting familiar with the local currency beforehand. Even just recognizing the basic denominations can make you feel so much more confident.
Absolutely. No more deer in the headlights moments at the cash register.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, one of the YouTube channels we dug into had this great tip. Where is the item department? Is your go-to phrase for navigating any store.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
Yet it unlocks a world of possibilities. It's like a magic spell for teleporting to the exact spot you need to be.
Love it. And here's another gem from those English tutor videos. If you're not quite ready to buy, don't hesitate to say I'm just browsing. It takes the pressure off and lets the staff know you're still exploring your options.
Yes. It sets a relaxed tone from the start.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of another tip from Speak English with Vanessa. If you're on the phone inquiring about something and miss a detail, don't be afraid to say,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't catch that.
It's so much better than nodding along and ending up with the wrong thing. It happens more often than you'd think. All right, so let's say you found something that catches your eye, especially if it's clothing.
Okay.
The next step is trying things on. But did you know that asking about the return policy up front can be a game changer?
J. Forrest English had some great advice on that. Understanding the return policy before you even try something on, especially in a foreign country, can save you a lot of potential hassle later.
Such a good point. I've definitely learned that lesson the hard way. And when it comes to describing the fit, having those key phrases ready is essential. We saw too tight, too loose, and of course the holy grail, comfortable, pop up in pretty much every source.
Those are your go-to descriptors. But what's fascinating is how these seemingly simple phrases can have different connotations in different cultures. For instance, what's considered too loose in one country might be perfectly acceptable in another. It all comes down to those cultural nuances.
Okay, that's super interesting. I'm already starting to rethink my approach to shopping in English.
It's all about being aware of those subtle differences. And speaking of subtle differences, did you know that sizes can vary dramatically between countries?
Oh, don't get me started on sizes. It's a minefield out there.
It is.
But you're right. English shopping words for beginners highlighted how crucial it is to understand those size conversions. A medium in one country might feel like a small in another.
It's a recipe for wardrobe malfunction if you're not careful.
Yeah.
I always recommend having a general idea of how sizes translate.
Yeah.
Especially when shopping online where you can't try things on beforehand.
Okay, so we've navigated greetings, found our way around the farm, even mastered the art of trying things on.
We have.
Now comes the moment of truth, checking out.
I'm ready to check out.
Yes.
Simple, direct, effective.
Yeah.
And of course, can I pay with method? is essential for a smooth transaction.
But here's where we can add a touch of finesse.
Okay.
The phrase book we dug into, 100 Easy English Phrases for Shopping in English, had this gem. I appreciate your assistance. It's a small gesture, but it leaves a positive impression.
It's those little touches that make a difference. It shows genuine appreciation for the staff's help and can even lead to a more positive interaction overall.
It's like adding a sprinkle of kindness on top of your shopping Sunday.
I like that.
Okay, now for a topic that requires a bit more cultural sensitivity,
Yeah.
bargaining.
The art of negotiation.
Yeah.
In some cultures, it's expected,
Right.
even encouraged,
Yeah.
while in others, it can be seen as inappropriate or even offensive.
So how do we navigate that?
Pasted text provided some great insight into the cultural differences in bargaining.
Okay.
In some countries like Morocco or Turkey, bargaining is a way of life, a social dance between buyer and seller.
Right.
But in places like the US or the UK, it's less common and might even be met with resistance.
So it's all about reading the room and understanding the cultural context.
Exactly. We found some great phrases for testing the waters.
Yeah.
Things like, is this on sale? Or, can you do me a deal?
Mm-hmm.
They're polite ways to gauge if bargaining is even an option.
Those are great starting points. And if the answer is yes, how do we proceed without coming across as pushy?
It's all about finding that balance between assertiveness and respect.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, even in cultures where bargaining is common,
Yeah.
it's about building a rapport,
Uh-huh.
having a bit of fun with it.
So it's not just about getting the lowest price.
Right.
It's about the experience as well.
Exactly. And if you're feeling brave, pasted text suggested a more advanced tactic.
Okay.
I was hoping to get this for a bit less.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
It implies you're genuinely interested, but open to negotiation. I'm already picturing myself haggling for souvenirs in a bustling marketplace.
Just remember, confidence is key,
Right.
but always with respect and a smile.
Yeah.
And before we get swept away to the souks, let's tackle a whole different beast.
Yeah.
The world of online shopping.
It's a shopping universe unto itself, right?
Absolutely. Add to cart, check out, shipping. These are just a few of the terms you'll need to navigate this digital landscape.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just about vocabulary. Understanding those online return policies is crucial,
Right.
especially since they can vary wildly from site to site.
And speaking of wild online scams are a real concern too.
Absolutely. We didn't find specific anti-scam phrases in the sources,
Okay.
but they did emphasize the importance of secure payment methods.
Yeah.
Things like using trusted platforms and looking for those HTTPS URLs.
Okay, so being aware of potential scams is key. But what about those frustrating moments when you can't find what you're looking for online?
That's where those search filters come in.
Okay.
Knowing how to refine your search can save you a ton of time and frustration.
So those filters are our friends, not our enemies. Who knew? This deep dive is already proving to be more enlightening than I expected.
It really is. And speaking of unexpected discoveries, let's venture into a specific type of online shopping that's become a global phenomenon: online marketplaces.
You mean those digital bazaars like eBay, Amazon, Etsy, where it feels like you can buy anything from handmade crafts to vintage treasures?
Exactly. It's like stepping into a virtual souk full of possibilities.
Yeah.
But just like in a bustling marketplace,
Yeah.
it's essential to be a savvy shopper.
So what are the key strategies for navigating those online marketplaces?
Pasted text highlighted the importance of reading reviews carefully. It's like getting insider tips from fellow shoppers. Are the sellers reliable? Do the products live up to expectations? Those reviews can reveal a lot.
Reviews are like the online equivalent of word-of-mouth recommendations, right? But how do we know which reviews to trust?
That's where a bit of critical thinking comes in. Look for reviewers who provide detailed descriptions, both positive and negative, and don't be swayed by a few glowing reviews.
Right.
Check for overall patterns and trends.
It's like being an online detective sifting through the clues. And speaking of clues, one of the sources mentioned a key question to ask when shopping on online marketplaces. Is this seller reputable?
That's such a smart move. Checking seller ratings and feedback can give you a better sense of their track record. It's like checking references before hiring someone.
Makes sense. You wouldn't want to end up with a virtual lemon. All right, so we've explored the world of online shopping, from navigating those sprawling marketplaces to staying safe from scams. But let's bring it back to those real-world shopping experiences. We've all had those moments where we wander aimlessly through a store too shy to ask for help.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a universal shopping struggle.
Yeah,
That fear of bothering the staff or not knowing how to phrase your question.
exactly. But here's the thing. asking for help can actually make your shopping trip so much smoother. And the sources we dug into had some great phrases for just these situations.
Excuse me, can you help me?
Uh-huh.
Simple, polite, effective use apps. And if you're looking for a specific item, I'm looking for item, can you tell me where it is?
It's like having a magic phrase to summon the item you need. And remember, most store staff are actually happy to help. They want you to find what you're looking for and have a positive experience.
Absolutely. It's their job to guide you through the shopping maze. And speaking of mazes, let's talk about those moments when you can't find a specific size or color. It's so frustrating.
Oh, I know the feeling. You find the perfect item, but it's not in your size or the color you want. What do?
Don't give up hope just yet.
Okay.
The key is to be prepared with the right phrases. Do you have this in a size? Do you have this in a different color? Are your go-to phrases for these situations?
Those are lifesavers. And if you're not even sure what size you need, don't be shy to ask for help with that too.
Exactly. Excuse me, can you help me find the right size? Is a great way to start that conversation. They might even have some fitting room magic up their sleeve.
And remember, even online, most websites have size charts or customer service reps who can help you out.
Online shopping has definitely become more user-friendly in that regard. But let's get back to those in-person interactions for a moment. Sometimes you need a second opinion, especially in a clothing store.
Oh, totally. Trying on clothes can be a vulnerable experience. It's like putting yourself on display for the fashion gods to judge.
And that's where a trusted friend or family member can come in handy. Don't be afraid to ask for their honest opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think of this? Or how does this look on me? It can be surprisingly helpful.
It's like having your own personal stylist. But what if you're braving the shop solo? Can you ask a sales associate for their opinion?
Absolutely. Most sales associates are trained to offer styling advice and can help you pick out items that flatter your body type and personal style.
That's reassuring. I always thought it was taboo to ask a sales associate for fashion advice, but I guess it's all about how you ask.
Exactly. Approach them with a friendly demeanor and a genuine request for their opinion. You might be surprised how helpful they can be.
Okay, so we've mastered the art of asking for help, finding the right size, even getting fashion advice. But what about those dreaded moments when something goes wrong? Like when you need to return an item or make a complaint.
Ugh, those are never fun. But knowing how to handle those situations gracefully can make the experience a lot smoother.
So what are the key phrases for navigating those tricky returns and complaints?
I'd like to return this, or I'd like to exchange this, are straightforward ways to start the conversation.
Okay.
And remember, always be polite, even if you're feeling frustrated. A little kindness can go a long way, especially when you're dealing with a potentially stressful situation.
It's like diffusing a potential conflict before it even starts. And speaking of diffusing situations, I'm sorry, but I think there's been a mistake on my bill is a great phrase for those moments when you spot an error.
Yes, pointing out errors politely and calmly is key.
Right.
And if you receive the wrong order, you can try, "Excuse me, but I think there's been a mix-up. I ordered item, but I received item."
Clear, concise, and respectful. That's the winning formula. And remember, most stores are happy to correct mistakes. It's in their best interest to keep customers happy.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about a situation that can add a layer of complexity to shopping. Language barriers.
Oh, I know those moments. You're trying to explain what you need, but the words just won't cooperate. It can be so frustrating.
It can feel like you're speaking different languages, even when you're both technically speaking English. But don't worry, there are ways to bridge those communication gaps.
So what are the key strategies for navigating language barriers while shopping?
One helpful tip we came across is to use visual aids. If you're struggling to describe a specific color or style,
Right.
try showing a picture on your phone or pointing to a similar item in the store.
Visuals are like the universal language of shopping. And what if you're having trouble understanding the staff? Are there any phrases that can help in those situations?
Could you please speak slowly? And could you please repeat that? Are both polite ways to ask for clarification. And remember, a smile and a patient attitude can go a long way in bridging those communication gaps.
It's all about embracing the challenge and making the most of the interaction. And speaking of making the most of things, let's talk about one of the most enjoyable aspects of shopping, finding those unique or special items.
Ah, the thrill of the hunt. Whether it's a souvenir from a far-off land, a handcrafted piece of jewelry, or a vintage treasure, there's something magical about discovering those one-of-a-kind items.
It's like finding a hidden gem in a sea of ordinary objects.
Exactly. And our sources provided some helpful phrases for those moments when we're on a quest for something special.
Yeah.
I'm looking for something unique, or I'm looking for something special, are great ways to start the conversation.
Those phrases are like opening a secret door to a world of unique finds. And if you have something specific in mind, you can add, I'm looking for a item that's an adjective.
It's like giving the shopkeepers a treasure map to guide them to the perfect item for you.
Love that. Now let's talk about a specific type of shopping that's all about finding those unique gems. Vintage shopping.
Vintage shopping is like stepping back in time, uncovering fashion treasures from past eras. It's a sustainable and stylish way to express your individuality.
It's like giving those pre-loved items a second chance to shine.
Exactly. And while there weren't any specific vintage shopping phrases in our sources, many of the general shopping phrases we've learned can be applied here as well.
So you can still use phrases like, do you have this in a different size? Or what's the best price you can offer when scouring those vintage racks?
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to ask about the history of a piece or the era it's from. It's like unlocking a hidden story behind the garment.
It's like adding a layer of meaning and connection to your vintage finds. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, from navigating language barriers to scoring vintage treasures. But no shopping experience is complete without mastering the art of describing products.
Describing what you're looking for,
Yeah.
asking about features,
Yeah.
understanding those product descriptions. It's all part of the shopping language game.
So let's break down the essential vocabulary for describing those coveted items. We saw a lot of general adjectives in the sources: new, used, expensive, cheap, high quality, low quality.
Those are your foundational descriptors. But the fun begins when you start getting more specific.
Right, like if you're shopping for clothes, you might use adjectives like soft, smooth, rough, thick, thin, tight, loose, patterned, plain, colorful.
And for electronics, you might throw in words like fast, slow, powerful, efficient, user-friendly, reliable, and innovative.
It's like painting a word picture of the perfect product. But sometimes even the most descriptive adjectives aren't enough. What about when we need to ask about specific features?
That's where those targeted questions come in. Phrases like, what are the features of this product? Or can you tell me more about the features? Are great starting points.
It's like getting a behind-the-scenes tour of the product's capabilities. And if you're looking for a specific feature, you can try, does this product have feature? Or I'm looking for a product with feature.
Those are more direct approaches, like asking for the product's resume,
Right.
highlighting its key qualifications.
Love it. And speaking of qualifications, what about product reviews? They're like testimonials from fellow shoppers, but how do we know which ones to trust?
It's all about being a discerning reviewer reader. Look for detailed accounts,
Okay.
both positive and negative.
Yeah.
And consider whether the reviewer's needs and preferences align with yours.
It's like taking those online reviews with a grain of salt and forming your own opinion. Now let's talk about something that can be a source of both excitement and confusion when shopping: currency and price-related vocabulary.
Understanding prices,
Yeah.
asking about discounts, deciphering different currencies, it's essential for navigating the financial side of shopping.
So let's break down those essential price-related terms. We saw a lot of familiar words in the sources: price, cost, expensive, cheap, affordable, discount, sale, deal, and bargain.
Those are your building blocks for any price-related conversation. And don't forget the importance of being able to clearly pronounce numbers in English.
Yeah.
A little practice with number pronunciation can go a long way, especially when you're dealing with prices.
No more awkward fumbling with numbers. And speaking of fumbling, what about when we're traveling and need to figure out the currency situation?
What currency do you accept, and what's the exchange rate? Are your go-to phrases for those moments.
It's like having a cheat sheet for the currency exchange game. And speaking of games, who doesn't love the thrill of a good discount?
Discounts are like the hidden treasures of the shopping world. Phrases like, is there a discount on this item? Or do you offer any discounts for students, seniors, etc.? Can unlock those savings.
They're like magic spells for conjuring up lower prices. And if you're feeling bold, remember the art of bargaining. It can be a fun and rewarding way to get a better deal, especially in certain cultures.
Just remember to approach bargaining with respect and a friendly demeanor. It's a delicate dance between buyer and seller.
It's like a playful negotiation tango. Now let's talk about a type of discount that's become synonymous with online shopping: the coupon code.
Coupon codes are like digital keys to unlocking savings. Phrases like, Do you have any coupon codes? Or is there a coupon code I can use? Can save you money at checkout.
They're like secret passwords to a world of discounts. And if you're shopping online, remember to search for those coupon codes before you hit the buy button.
You can find them on coupon websites,
Oh, right?
through email newsletters,
Mm.
even on social media. It's like a digital scavenger hunt for savings.
And speaking of hunts, what about shipping costs?
Oh, yes.
They can be a real deal breaker, especially when ordering online.
How much is shipping, and do you offer free shipping? Are your key phrases for navigating those shipping fees.
It's all about knowing your options and finding the best deals.
And speaking of deals, let's shift gears and talk about a type of shopping that's good for both your wallet and the planet. Sustainable shopping.
Sustainable shopping is like voting with your dollars.
Yes.
Supporting brands and products that align with your values.
It's about making conscious choices that minimize our environmental impact and promote ethical production practices.
So how do we incorporate sustainable shopping into our English vocabulary?
While our sources didn't have specific sustainable shopping phrases,
Right.
you can still use those general shopping phrases we've learned. Is this product made from recycled materials? Or is this company committed to ethical production practices? Are great starting points.
It's all about asking those questions and supporting companies that prioritize sustainability. And speaking of sustainable choices, shopping secondhand is a great way to reduce waste and give pre-loved items a new life.
Whether it's at thrift stores,
Yeah.
consignment shops, or online marketplaces, shopping secondhand can be a treasure hunt for unique and affordable finds.
It's like giving those discarded items a second chance to shine. And remember, you can still use those general shopping phrases we've learned when navigating the secondhand world.
Do you have this in a different size, or what's the best price you can offer? Are just as relevant when you're thrifting as they are when you're shopping in a high-end boutique.
It's all about being a savvy shopper no matter where you're shopping. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground from sustainable shopping to secondhand treasures. But no shopping experience is complete without a touch of etiquette.
Shopping etiquette.
Yes.
It's like the unspoken rules of the shopping game.
Uh-huh.
Those little courtesies that make the experience more pleasant for everyone involved.
So let's delve into those subtle but important aspects of shopping etiquette.
Shopping etiquette and cultural differences highlighted how these seemingly small differences can really impact the entire shopping experience. For example, in some cultures, it's considered rude to touch merchandise without asking,
Right.
while in other cultures, it's perfectly acceptable to pick up and examine items.
That's a great reminder that cultural norms can vary widely, even when it comes to something as seemingly universal as shopping. It's all about being aware of those differences and adapting our behavior accordingly.
Absolutely. And speaking of adapting, it's important to be mindful of personal space, especially in crowded stores.
Crowded stores can be a real test of our shopping etiquette. What are some other key etiquette tips to keep in mind?
Shopping etiquette and cultural differences emphasize the importance of keeping your voice down,
Right.
avoiding blocking aisles with your shopping cart, and being patient with staff and other shoppers.
Those are all great reminders to be mindful of our surroundings and the people around us. And speaking of being mindful, let's not forget about the importance of expressing gratitude to staff members who assist us.
A simple thank you goes a long way.
Yes.
And if you're particularly impressed with the service, you can always ask to speak to a manager and commend the staff member.
That's a great way to acknowledge outstanding service and make someone's day. But what about those situations where things don't go as planned? Like when you need to return an item or make a complaint?
Those situations can be tricky, but knowing how to handle them politely and effectively can make the experience much less stressful.
So what are the key phrases for navigating those potentially awkward moments?
Excuse me, but I need to return this item, and I'm sorry, but I need to make a complaint, are both polite ways to start the conversation.
Okay.
Remember, clarity and calmness are key. Clearly explain the reason for the return or complaint without getting overly emotional.
It's like presenting a case with logic and composure. And remember, the staff members are there to help. Most of the time, they're happy to assist with returns exchanges or complaints.
Absolutely. It's in their best interest to resolve issues and keep customers satisfied. Now let's shift gears and talk about a type of shopping that often comes with a unique set of challenges. Shopping for special occasions.
Whether it's a birthday, a wedding, a holiday, or a special event, finding the perfect gift or outfit can feel like a quest.
It's true. It's about finding something thoughtful and appropriate.
Right.
Something that reflects the occasion and the recipient's personality.
So what are some helpful phrases for navigating those special occasion shopping expeditions?
What would you recommend for his occasion? And I'm looking for something special for a person. Are great starting points for a conversation with a sales associate.
Those phrases are like sending out a signal flare for gift-giving guidance, and don't be shy to ask questions about the recipient's interests, hobbies, or style preferences.
The more information you gather,
Yeah.
the easier it will be to narrow down your options and find that perfect gift. And speaking of perfect gifts, let's talk about a type of shopping that often involves searching for unique and meaningful items.
Souvenir shopping.
Souvenirs are like tangible memories,
Yes.
little pieces of a place or experience that we can take home with us,
They can range from simple trinkets to elaborate works of art.
each one holding a special significance.
So what are some key strategies for navigating the world of souvenir shopping?
While our sources didn't have specific souvenir shopping phrases,
Okay.
you can still use those general shopping phrases we learned. How much is this? Or can I get a discount if I buy multiple items? Are just as relevant when you're browsing souvenir stalls as they are in a department store.
It's all about being a savvy shopper no matter what you're buying. And remember, bargaining can be a fun and rewarding part of the souvenir shopping experience, especially in certain cultures.
Just approach it with respect, a smile, and a sense of adventure. It's all part of the souvenir hunting game.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, from special occasion shopping to souvenir hunting. But no matter what you're shopping for or where you are in the world, one thing remains constant: the importance of having fun.
Shopping should be an enjoyable experience,
Yeah.
a chance to explore,
Yeah.
discover, and connect with new people, cultures, and products.
It's like a global adventure waiting to be explored.
And speaking of exploring, let's wrap up this deep dive by talking about something that can truly enhance any shopping experience. Cultural awareness.
Cultural awareness. It's like having a secret decoder ring for understanding the nuances of shopping in different parts of the world.
It's about being respectful of local customs, traditions,
Yeah.
and ways of doing things. And it's about embracing the diversity of shopping experiences that exist around the globe.
So how do we cultivate that cultural awareness when it comes to shopping?
It starts with a willingness to learn and a genuine curiosity about other cultures. Before you travel to a new destination, do a little research on the local shopping customs.
Okay.
Are there any specific etiquette rules to keep in mind?
Right.
Are there any unique shopping experiences that are worth seeking out?
It's like doing your cultural homework before you hit the shops.
And remember, cultural awareness isn't just about avoiding faux pas.
Right.
It's about enriching your shopping experience.
Yeah.
It's about connecting with people on a deeper level, understanding their perspectives,
Right.
and appreciating the beauty of cultural diversity.
It's like turning your shopping trip into a cultural immersion experience. Now, before we say farewell to the world of shopping in English, let's talk about something that can make or break any shopping experience: customer service.
Customer service. The heart and soul of any retail interaction.
Yeah.
It's about those moments when we interact with staff,
Right.
whether we're asking for help, making a purchase,
Yeah.
or even resolving an issue.
So what are the key ingredients for a positive customer service experience?
Shopping etiquette and cultural differences highlighted the importance of clear communication,
Okay.
active listening,
Uh-huh.
and a genuine desire to assist the customer.
It's like a trifecta of customer service excellence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, customer service is a two-way street.
Right.
Customers play a role in creating a positive interaction as well.
Yeah.
Be polite,
Uh-huh.
be patient,
Yeah.
and be clear about your needs.
It's like a collaborative dance between customer and staff working together to create a harmonious shopping experience.
And speaking of harmony, let's wrap up this deep dive by reminding ourselves that shopping can be more than just a transaction.
Right.
It can be an opportunity to connect with people,
Yeah.
explore new cultures,
Yeah.
and discover hidden gems along the way.
It's like turning a simple shopping trip into an adventure.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's about approaching shopping with a sense of curiosity,
Yeah.
openness,
Yeah.
and a willingness to step outside of our comfort zones.
So in a way, shopping in English is about more than just the language. It's about embracing the cultural tapestry of the shopping world. But let's not forget about the practical side of things. We've talked about handling returns and complaints. But what about those moments when we need to ask for a refund?
The refund request.
Yeah.
A delicate dance of diplomacy. But seriously, knowing how to politely and clearly request a refund can save you a lot of hassle.
So what are the key phrases for navigating those refund waters?
I'd like to request a refund for this item, is a straightforward way to start the conversation. And remember, always be prepared to explain the reason for the refund request.
Right.
Did the product arrive damaged? Was it not as described? Having those details ready can streamline the process.
It's like building a case for your refund. And speaking of cases, what if the item is faulty or defective? Are there specific phrases for those situations?
This item seems to be faulty, or I believe this product is defective, are clear ways to describe the issue. And remember, it's always helpful to have your proof of purchase handy.
The receipt, our trusty sidekick in the world of returns and refunds. Now let's talk about a situation that can be especially tricky, when there's a misunderstanding about the price.
Price discrepancies can be frustrating, but it's important to approach them with a cool head.
So what are the key phrases for addressing those price-related mix-ups?
Excuse me, I believe there's been a mistake with the price, or I think I was overcharged for this item, are polite ways to bring the issue to the attention of the staff.
It's about pointing out the error without pointing fingers. And remember, most stores are willing to correct pricing mistakes. It's in their best interest to maintain a positive reputation and ensure customer satisfaction.
Absolutely. It's all about approaching the situation with a problem-solving mindset, not a confrontational one.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, from requesting refunds to handling price discrepancies, but let's not forget about the human element of shopping. Connecting with the staff and fostering a positive interaction.
Those personal connections can make all the difference. Remember, a smile,
Yeah.
a friendly greeting, and a genuine appreciation for their help can go a long way in creating a positive experience for both you and the staff.
It's like sprinkling a little bit of kindness into the shopping transaction. But what about when we encounter a language barrier? Are there specific strategies for bridging those communication gaps and connecting with staff on a human level, even if our language skills aren't perfect?
That's where those nonverbal cues come in.
Okay.
Body language,
Right.
gestures.
Uh-huh.
Even a shared laugh can transcend language barriers and create a sense of connection.
It's like speaking the universal language of human kindness. But what about those moments when we need to ask for something specific, like a different size or color, but the words just won't come out right?
Visual aids can be lifesavers in those situations.
Mm-hmm.
Point to a color swatch,
Right.
show a picture on your phone,
Yeah.
or even try drawing a quick sketch. Sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words, especially when those words are lost in translation.
It's like turning your shopping trip into a game of charades, but with a positive outcome. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive into the world of shopping in English, let's circle back to something we touched on earlier: cultural awareness.
Cultural awareness is like having a superpower when it comes to shopping in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
It allows us to navigate those subtle but important cultural differences with grace and respect.
So how do we level up our cultural awareness game?
It starts with recognizing that our own cultural norms and expectations might not be universal.
Right.
What's considered polite or appropriate in one culture might be perceived differently in another.
It's like stepping outside of our cultural bubble and embracing the diversity of perspectives and customs that exist around the globe. But with so many different cultures and customs to navigate, where do we even begin?
A little research goes a long way. Before you travel to a new country,
Yeah.
spend some time learning about the local shopping etiquette.
Okay.
Are there any specific greetings or gestures that are customary? Are there any taboo topics or behaviors to avoid?
It's like packing your cultural suitcase with essential knowledge and sensitivity. And remember, cultural awareness isn't just about avoiding faux pas. It's about enriching our shopping experience and connecting with people on a deeper level.
Absolutely. It's about approaching shopping with a sense of curiosity, openness, and a genuine desire to learn from other cultures. And who knows, you might even discover some hidden shopping gems along the way. Now, as we bring this deep dive to a close, let's reflect on what we've learned and how we can apply these insights to our future shopping adventures.
We've explored a wide range of topics, from mastering essential phrases to navigating cultural differences. But perhaps the most important takeaway is that shopping in English is about more than just the language.
It's about confidence.
Right.
It's about cultural awareness.
Yeah.
And it's about embracing the joy of discovery. And remember, the more you practice, the more natural and enjoyable those shopping experiences will become.
So go forth, fellow shoppers, and conquer those linguistic and cultural frontiers. And who knows, maybe we'll cross paths in a bustling marketplace or a charming boutique somewhere around the world. Until then, happy shopping.